Hey guys, welcome back to YSA. On today's episode, we'll be talking about the experience of being Black in a PWI.
A PWI is a predominantly white institution. So I guess we should go into microaggressions. Does anyone want to talk about what that is?
A microaggression is a subtle or like a jab or an insult that someone of a different race from you or sexuality of you can make, and it could be unconscious or conscious. And it might not come off as a direct insult, but it can still hurt. Yeah.
It's like a backhand compliment.
Yeah, like a backhand.
That's kind of like you, at first you think it's good, but then you unpack it and it's like, oh, that's not bad. I think the most common one would be like, you're pretty for a Black girl, which is like, you think about it like on the surface when like you're little, you're like, oh, thanks, you just called me cute. But then you get older and you're like, oh, so you telling me other Black girls are like ugly? And you're like, oh, okay, so I'm the not ugly Black girl. So now it's like, eh. But to that other person who say that, they might have good intentions, but it's still like bad. And some people say it with bad intentions. You know, it's awful. Don't do it.
Does anyone have any examples of microaggressions?
I think for me, like being a STEM major, I think that we go to a PWI where there are a lot of international students and they like think that they're better than you, and like when you're in discussion, which is like smaller classrooms than like the larger lectures, like they don't necessarily think that you know what you're talking about, so like they kind of exclude you on like the topic and discussion. So
Yeah, I've had a similar example where the person, I don't know, didn't think I knew the answer or wasn't smart enough in their discussion group, and everyone else in their discussion groups were talking, but he was just doing his own thing.
I kind of been in a situation like that. I come from like an astronomy background, so it's like real like heavy on theories, and you say stuff and people would be like, oh, I didn't expect you to know that. And you're kind of like, well, why wouldn't you expect me to know that? You know, it's kind of like, just especially when we have like at a PWI, when we have fields that are filled with different people that don't look like us.
yeah,
They really expect you to not know anything, and then you're kind of like, how do you think I'm in the same room as you? But they don't think that far. My sophomore year, there was, I don't remember what there was some like event that happened like nationally, and it was like a couple weeks after that, there was chalk on the quad saying like Black Lives Matter equals KKK, like all over the place. And it was just kind of like, oh, because usually here you don't really like see stuff like outright anymore, because that's kind of, people don't do that now. And so when you see stuff like that, you're kind of like, oh, this stuff is like, you know, it's here, but it is like, oh, it's like actively here. And so I was wondering, had anyone else seen any instances of that on campus?
they had like when Trump was first being elected and he wanted to like do all these things, like people rolling chalk on like the like in front of the like on the quad, like deport like immigrants and like build the wall and all that stuff.
I didn't see it. I saw pictures of it. And so basically like the Atlanta Republicans had a bake sale where it was, if they had cupcakes and they were priced differently based on your race. So you could go up there and be like, I'm Black, so the cupcakes are 25 cents. But if you're white, the cupcakes were like $1, something like that. And so it was basically them saying that like minorities are privileged and stuff like that. But I remember everyone making a joke out of it. Like all the color people were like, well, we getting cupcakes for cheap. It's like, it's not a problem. And other people were like, there's probably poison in them cupcakes. So it was kind of like, it was a very bad example of what affirmative action represented, because you know, white women benefit most from that, but no one has the range for that conversation yet.
Yeah, I think there's like a huge misconception about like who affirmative action actually services. Like a lot of people think that like us being at this school is because like they have to fulfill some type of quota, and like the reality of the situation is, for most of us, like we got here because we like earned it. Like we got the same grades as them, we got the same test scores as them.
And plus there's less Black people on this campus than like anybody else.
Yeah.
And it's not, I'm not being like, oh, this is like an awful thing, but there are more like Asian students here because of like the partnership we have with like those countries over there. And so it's still kind of like, even though it is a lot, like I think my freshman class was like the biggest, and even that was like 2,000 or 3,000 people, and that's not a lot when the school was 45,000 people, you know?
Okay, does anyone have any last questions or comments?
No.
Okay, thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode. And if you want to catch our next one, make sure to subscribe or follow our social media.
Bye.
Bye.